Thing I've been through, am going through, and will go through has just been a blessing in disguise in paving the way for Jasmine Lynn Enterprises to be known around the world. I'm an author, speaker, minister, Black mental health matters advocate, and God's voice for the millennial generation. I am Jasmine Lynn Pope, and I am turning my wildest dreams into the greatest reality. So let's jump into today's topic. Today I'm sitting here on my couch, and so I want to have a real therapist moment. I know a lot of times, I come on and I've had guests and we've talked about mental health just a little bit, but I want to take this time to really have a serious moment, a serious conversation. So I'm sitting on the couch because I feel like we need this therapist moment in these times that we're going through. So I want to first shout out a disclaimer that what I am offering is by no means a therapeutic service to you all. I'm just sharing some of my own personal experiences, my expertise with you. But if you are needing help, please get it. There are so many people, there are so many resources out here for you to be able to get the help that you need, but I'm just coming on to share a little bit of information. There's so much more that you can get from coming and sitting in an office, being able to talk and share all of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions in an unbiased, unjudgmental environment, right? And so, we need therapy at this time. We need to prioritize our mental health. We need to know that it is okay. I speak as a part of my brand and my mission that Black mental health matters. And that's not to say that mental health does not matter for everyone, but in our community, we do not talk about this enough. We do not advocate for this enough. We do not promote this enough. And so no, maybe you don't want to come and sit on a couch or in a chair and talk to someone, but there are resources out there for you to be able to get that will help you improve your mental health, help you improve your self-esteem and your outlook on life, be able to deal with family issues and trauma and all of those things. But it is now time for us to prioritize our mental health. Just this week, here in the city of Toledo, we have dealt with one of the hardest things that I think this city has seen. Yes, we've dealt with a lot of death and a lot of trauma, but to really have to deal with the fact that a 3-year-old little boy was murdered. And the city was on a wild chase to figure out what happened to him, where he was, for his body to turn up the way that it did. It has hurt us. It has impacted us. It has gotten to us. You could see and feel the chills even through the screens of your phones or on your computer screen, your iPad screen, of just knowing that this little boy lost his life. And we don't know how, we don't know why, but it hurts. It gets to us. And in these times, we're seeing so many things that hurt us and that are getting to us. We see Black men that are dying each and every day on our TV screens. We see the shootings. We hear about the abuse and the brutality. We're hearing about the deaths from COVID. We're hearing about people being isolated and being abused in these situations because we're not really going where we would go. Children are being put into situations that they should not have to deal with. And it hurts. And it gets to us. This doesn't mean because maybe we didn't know them that it shouldn't hurt to us. Because when one life is hurt, it hurts us. When our Black lives are hurt, it hurts us because we empathize, we sympathize, we feel in these moments. And so, when we are going through these things, it impacts us on a personal level. And we get so mentally and emotionally drained because we're tired of seeing this. We're tired of dealing with this. We're tired of the trauma that we have to go through day in and day out, whether it's in our personal lives, on our jobs, in our churches, in the streets. We're tired. And so there's so many people who are at that point where they're so tired of seeing all of this, of dealing with all of this racial trauma, sexual trauma, family trauma, work trauma, that they are ready to give up. What's the point in living, is what some might be saying. What's the point in keep going on when it seems like no matter where I turn, no matter what I see, no matter what I go through, it doesn't seem like there's a positive end in sight. We see so much on a day-to-day basis, and someone could be at that point where they just don't feel like they can make it anymore. But I believe that for this episode of Purpose Talk, God gave me a special message to be able to share with each and every one of you, that now is not the time to give up. Once again, now is not the time to give up. You are needed. You are necessary. You are important for this time. There's still purpose that lives on the inside of you that needs to be manifested on the outside. There's someone who needs what you have inside of you. There's someone that needs you to advocate for their needs. There's someone that needs you to speak up about what they're going through. There's someone that needs to hear your story of how you've overcome. So in the midst of seeing all of this negativity, there's a voice that needs to come out. There's a story that needs to be shared. There's a testimony that needs to be shown, that even in the midst of everything that we go through, even in the midst of all the hurt, even in the midst of all the pain, even in the midst of all the uncertainty, that because you made it, I can make it. Because you endured, I can endure. Because you were able to come through this and not look like what you've been through, I know that I can too. And so I came on today just to speak to someone and to remind you that you shall live and not die. Don't cause death to yourself right now. A lot of times we have seen so much in the news about suicide and, the statistics and all of those things. And people say, well, the cause of death was suicide. Suicide was the means by which they lost their life, but that's not always the cause. A lot of times it's because we are going through so much within ourselves, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that we feel like it would just be best to give up. It would be best if I wasn't here. It would be better if I didn't have to feel all of this stuff. And so they commit suicide. But it's the depression. It's the anxiety. It's the overwhelming thoughts. It's the low self-esteem. It's the feeling that no one is there for them that causes that. So I want to come and just speak life into someone. That now is not the time to isolate yourself. So many times when you hear about people who have committed suicide, attempted suicide, thought about suicide, they started to separate themselves from the people that were closest to them. They separate themselves from the ones who truly knew them, knew what their signs and their signals were, knew that they were, down and out and whatever it may have been that they were going through in that moment. Don't isolate yourself. Don't separate yourself from people. That's the time to draw closest and nearest to people. People that understand you, understand what you're going through, that won't tell you, don't do it. Don't just do it. You're too good for that. Because in that moment, I might not feel good enough. In that moment, I might not feel like I'm special enough. But I need someone to truly hear me. To not see me for what I can do or what my name says or my titles or anything. I need you to hear my heart. So if you're dealing with someone who may have these tendencies, don't block them out, don't shut them out because they're saying that they're going through this. They truly need someone to listen to them, to hear them, to know that you hear me and what I'm going through. And even if you can't offer a word, if you can't offer encouragement, if you can't offer a solution, that you simply just listen. And because you listen, that gave me the strength to know that I don't have to hold all of this in. Oftentimes when people are in these moments of feeling suicidal or feeling hopeless, they can feel alone in a world full of people. Provide genuine support. Provide that care. If you realize that somebody is beginning to pull away from you, let them know that you're still there as best as you can. That's what's needed in this time. We need to be here, to be there for one another in these trying times. And so that's where that support comes in, that genuine love comes in. We need to know that there's still something in this world for us to do. A lot of people in this time are feeling so hopeless and helpless because they're not working like they were. They're not going out and doing the things that they used to do. Maybe, their gifts, they feel like are remaining stuck and stagnant in this time. But there's still things and still ways to be able to get that out. So providing those outlets, providing those resources, being able to lift a hand and say, here I am, what do you need from me? How can I help you? How can I help you to still fulfill what's going on in your life without minimizing this time? Recognizing that. There are so many people who are ready to give up because they've just been going and going and going and going and trying to figure it out moment after moment, time after time, day by day. How do I fix it? How do I get the money? How do I eat today? How do I provide for my children? How am I supposed to make it? Or I'm trying to keep going to avoid what it is that I'm thinking about, what it is that's going on in my life. Burnout is so prevalent in these times, in uncertain times, but in day-to-day lives. So help someone not have so much on their plate. Help yourself not have so much on your plate. There's an activity I do with my therapy clients who come in and they're saying that they have all of these things going on. And I give them a sheet of paper and I tell them that this sheet of paper represents their life. It's called their plate. And I want you to put on this plate everything that you do, every title, every role, every activity, every group, board, community, issue, involvement that you have. I want you to look at that. Not only do I want you to see what all you have on your plate, but then I want you to look at it and see if you're prioritizing the right things in the right place at the right time. Because so many times we cause our own burnout, we cause our own mental distress, emotional distress, because we're trying to do everything and be everything for everybody. And then when we look at that plate, we have nothing left to give to ourselves. So I invite you to do that activity. As we're going through the show, if you're watching the replay after the show, get a sheet of paper and really assess, are you giving your time, your attention, your gifts, your talents to the areas that they need to be given to? Or are you wasting them? Are you not maybe wasting them, but you're just piling so many things up on your plate that no matter what material you think it's made out of, it's bound to break. And we don't want you to be broken in this season of your life. We don't want you to feel as if you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. We want you to walk in purpose. We want you to walk fulfilled. We want you to walk healthy, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. Because a lot of times what we don't realize is there's that connection between all of those pieces. And if you're not physically good, then you're not mentally good. If you're not mentally good, you're not spiritually good. If you're not spiritually good, you're not emotionally good. And that can lead to disaster and to your demise. Being able to look at where you are in your life, not from a place of feeling that I'm not where I want to be, because oftentimes we're not where we want to be in life. So many of us have always thought we would be further along than we are. We thought that at this age, at this time, we would have this and be doing this and living this way, and that sounds good, but it doesn't always happen that way. And so we've got to really look and assess and see, are we doing what we should be doing in this time in our life? Or are we putting so many things on our plate that is distracting us from really being focused on what we should be doing, on who we should be becoming? And is that leading us to have these negative thoughts about ourselves, this negative outlook on our lives? And as we go through this assessment, I want us to work on changing our thinking. So many times, especially in these times, we are taking in so much negative feedback, so much negative energy, so much negative information, because that's what's put out there. Maybe we're not putting that out there, but we're so busy comparing our lives to the next person and what they have going on and what they're doing and all of these things that we feel we're not good enough, or we're not right, or we're not doing what we were purposed to do. And so our minds get so filled that it's like a sponge. Once the sponge is filled, there's nothing else that can go in. And so we filled ourselves with so much negativity that the positive can't get in. The truth of who we are and whose we are can't permeate us, so that when we think it, we believe it, and when we believe it, we feel it, and when we feel it, we do it. So many times we have devalued ourselves because of what other people thought about us, what other people said about us, or what we feel like we aren't. But I came here specifically to let you know, stop devaluing yourself. Stop saying that you're not good enough. Stop saying that you're not worthy. Stop saying that you're not called. Stop with all the negative thinking and the negative speaking. What we put out shapes our atmosphere. So if all you're putting out is all this doubt and disappointment and negativity, that's what fills your atmosphere. I came to speak life today. We've got to change how we feel, how we think, how we behave. And that starts with us. And so sometimes you may not be able to find it in anyone else. Yes, we can say have all the support and utilize all the resources and all of that, but the change starts with you. And so today I want to just speak encouragement once again, that you shall live, that you shall walk in purpose, that you shall fulfill all of your goals and all of your dreams and your wildest aspirations, because today we're changing our mindset. Today we're no longer focusing on all the negativity that's going on around us and maybe even within us, but we're changing that so the positivity can come in. We're ridding ourselves of those negative mindsets. We're speaking life into our situations, that no matter what we're facing, no matter what is going on in this city, this state, this country, or this world, that we shall overcome, that we are more powerful than we think, that we are better than what we give ourselves credit for, that we are able to live our best, most desirable, and fullest lives, because we're starting with us. We can't always change the world around us. We can't change every person. But if you start with yourself, and you can begin to change your thinking and change the way you feel about yourself and change what you do, you'll begin to see everything around you shift. I didn't come on to talk about something so heavy because it just is a thing. I came because this is what I'm passionate about. I came because I lived it. I've walked it. I remember there was a day back in October of 2014. There's probably only one or two people who really know about this day. But I woke up and it just seemed like darkness was all around me. And the thoughts just begin to come. You're no good. You don't deserve this. You're not worthy. You should just take your life. And I almost really considered it. But I got up and I changed where I was, and just being able to move and get up out of that funk that I was in began to start something. And I ended up going to church for a rehearsal. And even then, I still wasn't feeling the best, but I was in an atmosphere that began to change what I was thinking, what I was feeling. And I was able to come to realize after that moment, after being able to process, that the enemy was on an attack to stop me from being able to do what I was purposed to do. Because that was my prayer in that season. God, show me my purpose. And so the enemy wanted to take me out. And that's where he's at in this world. He's trying to stop us from walking in our purpose. He's trying to stop us from being who we're called and who we're destined to be. So he wants you to give up. He wants you to feel like you're not good enough. He wants you to feel like you'll never make it. But we stop that assignment today. There is life in you. Keep going. Keep fighting. Keep living. Keep dreaming. Keep believing that you can make it. You shall live. Your purpose shall live. The generations that are coming after you shall live in the fullness of their lives because you kept going. Once again, if you are at that place where you are feeling like, I just can't make it, Jasmine, I don't want to do it, feel free to reach out to me. If you're in the city of Toledo, there's Cecil Holston, there's LaShawn Alford, there's Carter Thomas, there's Warnetta Hollingsworth, there's so many, Andrea Hill, there's so many of us that are in this field, not because it's a paycheck, not because it's something that we want to brag or boast about, but it's something that God told us that we need to do because we want to help you be your best self. We want to see you live your life to the fullest. If you feel like you can't reach out to one of us, reach out to a family member, reach out to a friend, contact the National Suicide Hotline, contact your pastor or another trusted spiritual person, whatever it is, whoever it is, just reach out. I promise you that your life will change for the better because you took a moment, you took the opportunity to get the help that you need. I want you to live. You want yourself to live, and you will not give up because you came here today. You heard this message, and you're changing your mindset so that you can walk out the purpose that is on your life. I thank you for allowing me to share this with you. I thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable. But I thank you for taking the steps to change your life. Give me just a quick moment and we'll be back to end the show. Hey guys, this is a quick commercial break just to let you know that I wrote a book. Yep, that's right. Your girl Jasmine wrote a book, and it is titled In the Middle, Learning How to Navigate the Process to Purpose. In this book, you get a real life touch with seeing how I've gone through my life and how I was able to use the various experiences that I've gone through to find my purpose, as well as spiritual, inspirational, and motivational messages that will help encourage you to find your purpose and walk fully in that, or take it to the next level. This book is something that you need in your possession. It's for you, it's for your girlfriends, it's for your guy friends, it's for your church groups, it's for whoever. So make sure you go to the website www.blessingsinthesky.com and get your copy today. In the Middle, Learning How to Navigate the Process to Purpose. You need this. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, guys, so I know that was a pretty deep topic to talk about, but I feel like it was just so very necessary for what we have been going through in these times. And like I said, God just really spoke that to my heart on this morning as I was preparing and getting ready to share. And so once again, you shall live and not die. There's still purpose that you need to fulfill here on this earth. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep going. Get the support that you need. We're here for you. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in on this amazing Saturday. We'll be back same time, same place, another great conversation on the Purpose Talk next Saturday. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you next week.